you so much for coming for Girls for STEM. We really do appreciate you guys. Remember, we are here to encourage girls pursue science and technology. We are here to showcase other role models that are pursuing STEM or they are already in STEM. And we are also here to ensure that these girls that are about to pursue STEM are so much aware of the career, what type of technology is there, and just to understand the issues that are in STEM. So, guys, thank you so much. Guys, I have two exciting people today that we have. I can't wait to have her. So we're going to interview one at a time. So we are going to start with Wupe Chikumbi. I've been trying to get her to speak to us. She's a STEM, advocate, and oh my goodness, finally she's here. So guys, thank you so much. Let's bring her up so we can talk to her. So we have two very important guests here, guys. So let's dive into it right away. Hi, Wupe. Oh my God, thank you.
Hello.
So much. I really do appreciate. I'm so excited that you are here.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. Everyone joining, hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on when you watch this, those who watch us in the future. So I'm very happy to be here. My name is Wupe Chikumbi.
Wow. Guys, she's a STEM advocate. So we're going to hear more about her. It's so interesting, guys. We have to make sure we showcase these people who are in STEM, advocates, engineers, scientists. Why do we have to do that? We have to show people who are actually coming into STEM or those who are trying to come into STEM, including young ones, that they are women. Because rarely that women are showcased that they are doing STEM or they are in STEM. So this is a platform where we can expose our careers, guys, these women, and just listen to their language and tone. So thank you so much, Wupe. So Wupe, I'm going to ask you something. What are you doing today? So give my viewers, who are you? What are you doing? Where are you from? Where are you bouncing from?
Okay, thank you so much for that question. So, a brief introduction. As I earlier stated, my name is Wupe Chikumbi. I'm a human biologist graduate, so from the University of Zambia, and I was also a medical student. So I'm using a past tense there because I actually took a break from my medical studies after getting to my 5th year, and I haven't been back yet. Hopefully, I will soon. So I'm a human biologist by profession, and I'm also the founder and the executive director of Genius Education Zambia, which is an EdTech STEM organization where we facilitate, enhance, and promote STEM education through we call it a systemic model where we're trying to tackle the system. So when you talk about the system, that's the education system of Zambia. So we work with the government, we work with the community, we work with different local and international stakeholders. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's who I am and that's where I am today. So Genius Education Zambia, we have 12 projects at the moment. We've been in existence since 2018. So we host annual science fairs, we host innovation hubs with the Ministry of Education, National Science Center in Zambia. We host the National STEM Awards of Zambia. We have STEM camps. We have STEM writing competitions. We do some curriculum development. Also, we consult with the Ministry of Education through National Science Center, and just so many different amazing projects. Thank you.
Wow. Guys, she's in STEM. And look at amazing work that she's doing. Amazing. I can't wait to hook up with her. I know she has invited me, so I think we're going to talk after this. Wow, amazing, Wupe. Thank you so much for advocating for young ones, STEM, and just what you're doing in education. We really do appreciate. So let me ask you something really, really important to me and also to my viewers. How did you get into STEM? Let's start from when you were very little, when you were young, let's go back to 5 years old. What's going on in your life? Is there any relative around you who's in STEM, or neighbors around? Or what's really going on? Are your parents talking about STEM on the table when you're having food. So share with my viewers what's going on in your life at that time. And the reason we ask these questions is because most people wonder how engineers become engineers, what's happening in their life, how, because this career, remember, we are trying to encourage girls to pursue science and technology. So parents want to find out, how should I model my child for them to venture into STEM? And there's a lot of engineers on this forum, guys. Make sure you go find out what those ladies are saying. So, Wupe, not to steal your interview, so share with my viewers what's going on when you're young.
Okay, so I'm just struggling a bit here with my ring light. If in case you notice my lights are coming on and off, but going back to my early childhood, I would say for those who maybe might not know STEM, that's science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So if I were to go back to 5-year-old Wupe, I would say I was someone who really loved school, and I found school to be very interesting, and it's something that I excelled at. So naturally, I gravitated towards, like, it was all the subjects. Back then, I didn't think of it as STEM. I just knew that I loved going to school, I loved learning, and I used to excel at it. My parents played a huge role, especially my father. I really say my dad is my inspiration. So
Yes.
my father would always tell me about STEM careers. He encouraged that from a very young age. He would tell me about engineers. He would spend time telling me about doctors, what they do, what they're about. And when I was young, I actually wanted to pursue a career in engineering because of how much my father and my grandfather had told me about engineering. So STEM sciences was a huge part of my growing up. I also spent most of my childhood, watching a lot of documentaries, on, like National Geographic and all these, science shows, and I did watch a lot of that. But I didn't think of it as, because I was also passionate about other subjects in school. So I didn't really concentrate all my energy. It was just one of the many things I would do. So, STEM and science was just like going to play. So it was one of the many different things that I was doing as a child. But then as I got older, got to high school, I developed a passion for neuroscience, and I was just fascinated by the brain. I was, like the possibilities, like the different things we can do with our minds. And I told myself, whoever studies the brain, whatever that person is called, is what I want to be. So now the question was, what is a person who studies the brain called? And I remember I would watch shows like, brain games, psychology shows, but I was like, okay, what's the doctor for the brain, or what's the scientist for the brain? So there was a time where I thought I would do like neurosurgery, neurosciences, but later on I discovered that like a neuroscience approach was a better option for me. So yeah, I narrowed myself down to STEM only when I got to high school. Prior to that, I was just passionate about school.
Wow. It's so interesting. You hit similar points that other engineers have hit, other scientists have hit those points. You mentioned about your parents encouraging you also talking about engineering. Did they have a background of engineering or science, your parents?
Okay, so my mom has a background in humanities. She's a journalist, but then
Yes.
My dad was at a technical school here in Zambia. It's Hillcrest. So there are a long time, like back in the day, the science focused schools were called technical schools. So, but now it's been called, STEM schools. So
Correct.
he was at Hillcrest Technical School. For those who are in Zambia and are going to watch this, I'm sure they might know. For those who do not know, Hillcrest Technical School is one of the STEM schools in Zambia. So my father always told me about STEM. He would tell me about the subjects he would take in school and how his friends ended up becoming doctors. So I think I can't deny the fact that he played a huge role. And something else that he would always tell me is, you're such a genius. Like my father was, I would open the door, and just opening the door for him, he'll be like, oh, you're such a genius. So he used that word a lot, which is exactly why I decided to name the organization Genius Education.
Whoopi, not to still keep that thought. It's becoming very interesting, your story. Keep the thought, but let me just comment on one part. When you mentioned that your dad kept on saying, whatever you do, you're a genius. One of the things as women, scientists are saying, women, we need a lot of validation. And I don't know if it's because of the inclinations before that has said that women can't do technical classes or technical subjects. So when you mention that validation, scientists are saying women need that validation for them to flourish. Even when you are married, you want your husband to support you. Oh, you can do this, girl. You got this. Things like that. And then we kind of feel that bump, but we can still have it without anyone encouraging us. But women naturally, I think we feel so empowered. That's why we need to empower each other. Even here on this platform, we are trying to empower each other. We are trying to speak highly of ourselves, women, regardless of what you're doing, that you can do it, you are great. And I just wanted to mention that point, that your dad, especially coming from your dad, coming from your husband, coming from somebody of higher authority validating you, they say that women really flourish when they validate them in that way. So it's very interesting. And you also, for example, you hit the point of someone talking about science in your early life. And guys, that's why here we are trying to encourage young ones to pursue science and technology when they are young, when they are still young, to tell them that math is not hard, sciences are not hard, because when they get that, when they're still young, then they swim into that and they never think twice about it. But when you get later into your age, to encourage you, you can talk to women, they're like, oh no, I can't do engineering, I can't do, which is not fair. Of course, sometimes I also want to highlight that I went and did my engineering in my early 40s. Can you imagine? And I'm exposing my age now. So yeah, but that's when I did my engineering finally. Of course, I had a technical background, but yeah. So that's one thing. And you also mentioned about, in your parents also are trying to tell you about engineering because he went to a technical school. So those points, they are, quite similarly, because we're trying to let parents know exactly what happens during these young ones in their early age. How do they become doctors? How do they become engineers? And you are one of a kind. So, wow, thank you so much. I know I was talking, but I really wanted to drive that point you're talking about home. So I'll let you complete. So you ended where you're saying, so because of that, during high school, you decided to venture into a neuroscience because you were fascinated about the brain. And the other point you also mentioned is you were watching documentary. Guys, that's why at home, if you watch one of the videos, we talk about how to encourage kids at home. How can you encourage your young girls at home? What do you talk to them? What kind of life do you provide? She just mentioned she was watching documentary about the brain. Continue, Whoopi.
Thank you so much, and I'm so humbled by your words. And just to, just to emphasize that point even further, I would say the parental guidance, it plays a huge part, because I think I would like to mention it just for the sake of encouragement also. So I'm someone who struggled a lot with mathematics. I still struggle with mathematics.
Me too.
I think I have a condition, I don't know why, but like I just can't understand numbers, and it's been like that since I was young. So even I discovered that I had that issue with mathematics when I was only 5 years old. So I was doing very well. I was, a student, a pupil who was able to pick up reading at like 4 years old. I could complete all the tasks that were being given to me, but for some reason, I used to struggle with mathematical, execution. And the part that my dad played is that from the time I was young, my father has been my mentor in mathematics. So he would help me compensate for my insufficiencies. Like, maybe sometimes I don't understand principles in class. And because he knew that mathematics is a challenge for me, he used to give me, like I would say extra lessons and extra push. And that's where, the genius term came from. He would always tell me, you can do it. Then I'll tell him, but, the boys are doing so much better than me. Like, the boys understand this. But then my dad always told me, whatever the boys can do, you can do it better. And there's a way he says it. that it made me believe him. Even now when he tells me, like, I know it's just a pep talk, but for some reason, like, hearing it from him makes me believe that I can definitely do it. So even in high school, I did struggle with mathematics, but by God's grace, I ended up actually scoring a distinction, and I got, like, one of the highest grades, and even in my ninth grade, because for those joining in from other parts of the world, so in Zambia we have three examinations that you write in your seventh grade, your ninth grade, and your 12th grade. And in all those examinations, I would do well in mathematics because of my father, who was always encouraging me. He would take time to teach me. And there are moments where if he can't teach me something, my father would find someone else to teach me. So when he thinks it's something he's forgotten or he doesn't remember, he will call an uncle or, someone who can just step in to help me. And it played a huge role because I would have never gotten into medical school. And he used to tell me, you won't do what you want to do if you don't understand this mathematics. And that is the reason why I actually even went more into the biology and science, because I knew that if I take up a path in engineering or maybe computer science, for my own personal struggles with mathematics, it would have made tertiary education harder for me because mathematics was always a struggle. So I was like, okay, I love science, I love STEM. Let me just focus on, the science. And I think that's something that a lot of people should also learn to navigate. Sometimes when you're struggling in one area of STEM, there are so many ways in which you can still explore the sciences without having to always feel like, you're drowning and struggling for, your break. So for me, I chose a path in sciences because there was less mathematics, less calculations, and I could, still thrive at that. So that's the huge role that he played. And then going to the documentaries, I used to watch the doctor's show every single day religiously. You'd watch it. I loved it when they brought in, the neuroscientists. And I remember in 12th grade, I took part in the national, we call it JETS, so that's Junior Engineers, Technicians, Scientists of Zambia competition. And I made sure I did a project under neurosciences because at this point, I was already committed to a path in neurosciences. And it really amazed the judges because they're like, okay, how did you get to know this information? And I was like, oh, I've been watching the doctor's show and they talk about these things. So it's those things that help me even now because, school is hard sometimes. It's a challenge sometimes. But then when I look back at those moments, they kind of act as a foundation that helps me to keep pushing forward because I remember myself watching those documentaries, and then now even with different struggles, you can still push on because you have that solid foundation. So yeah, I think that's about the my childhood and my background into the sciences. So by 12th grade, I was very sure that I want to do something related to the brain. So I'm still not a neuroscientist right now. I'm just a human biologist, and I don't say just to demean the title, but I mean, I haven't yet, specialized. So I'm still on the path. And, with science, you are always learning something new. You never quite arrive.
Wow, wow. Oh my goodness. So, parents out there listening, you just, heard what she said. So much support around your parents. And I have seen that, I always give example of my son. When you support them, they really do get that. And, if you don't have anyone around them, like she said, the father had to find someone to come and tutor the daughter. It's so funny. I did that also because when I went to school, my son was already, high school up to there. So I would find my friends at the university who are, with some of the questions they're asking my son, he's asking for them. I would ask some of my schoolmates. I'm like, can you come and tutor my son? So you have to be proactive, aggressive, trying to support your kids and just help them navigate science and mathematics. It's a little bit tough when they're studying, but they get there. Wow. So continue. So what happens now? What are the challenges now that you faced when you are now in high school, going to the university, now that you're pursuing STEM? What are some of the challenges that you faced?
Okay, so going after high school, I finally managed to do well in mathematics because I'll focus on that because everything else was a bit easier for me to do. So I was taking the pure sciences, physics, chemistry, but I didn't have much of a challenge with the rest as I did with mathematics. So when I completed high school, I got a distinction in mathematics. That was a relief. I was happy because at least I knew that, okay, now I can, do what I want to do. But then I did a bit of research about university. How is how is life at university? And I was told, oh, the mathematics at university is actually higher mathematics than the one you were doing. So I asked
Yes.
myself, what can I do to set myself up for success and not for, for failure? So I enrolled into advanced levels because, at least with A levels, I was like, I just wanted to do the mathematics so that I can at least have that, solid foundation even as I go to university, because this is coming from me who struggles with mathematics. So for other people, that might not be a path for them. But sometimes in life, it's always good to know your strengths and your weaknesses so that you can make informed decisions. So I did my advanced levels at David Kaunda National Technical School, STEM school. Now it's called National Technical STEM School, and I got to the University of Zambia. Everything at the University of Zambia, it was challenging, but there was no special challenges that were, only on me. All the students were having this, equal challenges as I was. But for obvious reasons, I struggled a lot with mathematics. I was barely surviving. I took up tuition. I had tutors to help me. And it's those, supplementary things that you do, because I understood myself and I knew that, someone else does not need to get extra tuition, but then I know myself, I know my struggles, and I know what I'm trying to get to. So I had, two extra tutors who were helping me with mathematics, and that's how I managed to survive in my first year of university. I got good grades in the other sciences, but with mathematics, I just barely survived. But that was good enough because it was enough for me to get to where I wanted to go. And I'm being, honest with everyone, because sometimes when people see, a success story, they think you didn't have any challenges. So, it's always good to tell people that we push through the challenges. We don't make it because life was easy. We made it because sometimes there were challenges. So on my first attempt, I wanted to get into medical school immediately. So it would be shocking for some people, but I didn't get in the first time, and I was my second option was to do biomedical sciences, but that's still in the STEM field. So I did a year of biomedical sciences. Then I was like, when I got to biomedical sciences, I asked myself, did I just give up on my dream of wanting to do, human biology and neuroscience? And I told myself, you know what? Go back and try again. So I got back to second year. So I did second year twice in university, once with biomedical sciences, the next time with human biology. So I got back, and this time around I actually managed to get the points that were required. And for me, it just it's great because for most people, in our cultural setup, it's not everyone who would want to go backwards when you should be moving forward. But sometimes
Yes.
in life, learn to set yourself apart. We are not, we don't move as a crowd. You move as an individual. Because my year in biomedical sciences, it added up a lot. I learned a lot through that experience. Going back, it added, it also made, it helped me a lot also going back, and finally, getting those points, it made me see that, okay, this is something that I'm actually passionate about. Because if I'm willing to do second year 2 times, there's something here. And that's how I joined the people who were in the medical program. And yeah, I went through all the way to fifth year, and yeah, that's where I got to as of 2 years ago.
Wow, wow, wow. That's so interesting. And I hope people are listening that for us, or it's not all roses. It's not all roses that everything is fine, including myself. I did a lot of tutoring as well. And I made it through because some people are scared of asking, they're scared of having a tutor. So we have to encourage girls listening, women, that you need to ask. Just because we are looked under as women, that, oh, you think you are in science, you think you're in mathematics, here in STEM, let's see if you're going to do it. And then you sit in the corner and trying to solve the question. No, feel free to ask. Go and request for help. I did request for help. There was a program at my university called AIMS, and I knew who I wanted someone to tutor me. I went and asked, I said, I want you guys to pay this person to tutor me, because I knew how much I was understanding from them. So wow, thank you so much for sharing that. So I want to ask another question. So if you for example, what would you say to girls growing up in Kazungula, Shangombo, in Kasama, deep in the rural areas? And here in United States, for example, in Mississippi, they are in the rural areas, deep down in United States. It's not that just because you're United States, yes, we have all the resources, but there are remote areas where some people don't even know what's happening. Can you imagine? You won't believe that. So what would you say to those girls growing up in those areas? How can they pursue STEM?
Okay, so I think to answer that question, I'll answer it with what I do at Genius Education Zambia. So
Yes.
I mentioned that, I took a break from my medical studies, and one of the reasons why I took a step back from medicine, it's just a break, it's not a permanent exit. The reason why I took a break is also to focus on Genius Education Zambia, because as human beings, as women, we are not one-dimensional. So there are other areas of our lives that have to develop. And sometimes when you're in the STEM field, it's very easy to focus all your energy only on your academics at the expense of other areas of your life. So with Genius Education Zambia, the organization, I feel like it's the answer for all other people out there. So the question is, why did we call it Genius Education? Is because I strongly believe that every human being has an inherent genius that is present in them. We are all geniuses at something. There's something we are good at. And what I would say to those people there is, you need help to help. Sometimes you need help for someone to help you unlock that genius that's inherently present in you. So in 2018, I wrote a curriculum textbook. I wrote a book. I didn't think it would become a curriculum textbook. It was called the 6 Points Genius, Step-by-Step Guides to
Yes.
Obtaining Good Grades. And in that book, I shared very practical, principles, how people can, be very intentional. So the word in that book is, you have to be intentional even with your academics. And I felt like people in rural areas, what used to happen is, I used to carry out school outreach programs since 2013, and you go in some areas, people don't even know how to study. You tell them, they'll ask you, but how do you know? Like sometimes you tell them, oh, I got 100% in this subject because I struggled in mathematics, but I didn't struggle in all the other subjects. So other
Yes.
people won't understand, but how can you get 100%? And then you tell them there's actually a process, because sometimes people only tell you to study. No one tells you how to study. So I'll tell them,
Yes.
there are things that you actually have to do to set yourself up for success, because success is something that comes with a lot of intention and planning. So small things like, just understanding your teacher, understanding how exams are set up, what are they looking for? Things
Yeah.
like mnemonics, how do you study? And that's the response, I give people even in remote areas is, what we try to do as Genius Education, we want to offer them those resources that they may not have access to. It's not everyone who had the privilege to be taught how to study. I had my father, I had amazing teachers who really invested in me. But
Yes.
that's not a story for everyone else on this, planet, or, in this country, Zambia. Not everyone has access to that privilege. So what I would say to those people is, first of all, realize that success is very intentional. Regardless of where you're coming from, it's something that is very intentional. So look at what you have, first of all, within your communities. I would advise you to read my book. For those who
What
are
is the
able
name
to,
of
you
the
can.
book?
Yeah, so it's called the 6 Points Genius, a
Wow.
step-by-step guide to obtaining good grades. So I would advise you to read my book, because sometimes what used to happen is, I'll give these school outreach programs, you talk to pupils, some of them will come back, can you please repeat that point? Or,
Yes.
someone else was not able to attend that program. So I felt like if I put the information in one book, it's easier for everyone to have access to it. And I was very amazed when the Ministry of Education, through the Curriculum Development Center, actually endorsed the book. They gave it 84% rating, and it's actually approved for use in schools. So
Wupe, can
for
you
those
bring
in,
that book next time? I want to interview particularly on that book. So I think I'm making an appointment for next time, so we can just come and talk about the book. If you have it, you can show us. But I think I would love us to go in detail so people can buy that book.
absolutely.
Yes, wow, amazing, amazing. Thank you so much for what you're doing and just how much you are pushing in education. Amazing. Guys, please make sure you check out Wupech Kumbi and also the book. Is it in the stores, the book? Can they buy it? How can they have access to it?
Okay, so the book is okay for those in Zambia. Currently, it's just available for those in Zambia. It's found in
Yes.
libraries across the country. So what usually happens is that different school administrations they purchase the book
Mhm.
also in connection with some of the other projects that we have running at
Mhm.
Genius Education. So the point is not that we are selling a book. The book is not yes, it's on sale for a very minimal price, but the
Yes.
point is actually to get the message across, because if we're going
Mhm.
to make our country better, like I believe that Zambia has young people who are brilliant, and these young people just need the right mentorship, they need the right skills, and the book is one of the many skills that we give young people along with everything else that we do. So you can just check out our social media pages to just have an idea also of what we do. So the book is available. We get in contact with the school's administration, they make a purchase, and so when they call us for their different outreach programs, we do that connection with the schools. But you can also purchase on an individual level if you just reach out to us. Just you can just search for Genius Education Zambia, and all the information is available out there. Yeah.
Wow. Oh my God. Vupe, I feel like just keep going, going. So I think we have to set another one where you can come, we can dive deeper, just to see what else now you're doing, because we haven't even gotten to that part yet. So thank you so much. Oh my goodness. I really, really enjoyed how how you navigated your STEM and up to where you are. And you still have so many things that you want to do. I'm like, just watch your space. Guys, we have to watch her space and see what else she's doing and many things she's doing just to encourage girls pursue science and technology. Thank you so much, Wupe. I really do appreciate, and I want us to come and continue this story. If you can maybe even just show that book so that more of either teachers, pupils, they can know about this book. And on this channel we have so many engineers, parents who come to watch this channel. And thank you so much. I really do appreciate. Please stay tuned, and I'll bring you back again maybe when we are done, if you can. That will really be nice. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me discuss something that I'm really passionate about. Maybe to
Yes.
show the book, if you can just give me 10 seconds so that I just collect it, just 10 seconds.
No problem, no problem. So we are going to wait for her, guys. She is going to get the book so she can show us. When she comes, I'll be able to see her. Guys, wow, this is amazing. Seeing women pursuing science and technology, and just amazing job that they are doing. And this is Wupe Chikumbi. She's a STEM advocate and she's in STEM as well. What an amazing job she's doing. So guys, let's bring her up so she can show us these books.
Okay, so I don't know if you're able to see it. So
Yes, we're able to see
that's,
it. Yeah.
yes,
If you can put it
yes,
somewhere there. Wow. Oh, the
yes,
6 points. Yes, wow. Guys, I hope you
yes.
can see the book, the 6 points. I think we'll discuss more in depth. Thank you so much for sharing that book and for sharing all the knowledge that you have and what you're doing. Amazing job. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you.
Wow. Guys, amazing. That's amazing. Guys, we have another visitor, guys. Stay tuned. Her name is Jessie Chilufya, software engineer. Guys, women in software engineer. So we're going to bring her up right away, guys. Hi, Jessie Chilufya. How are you? Thank you so much for coming. I really do appreciate. Oh my God. Finally, I got you.
Yes, finally.
Oh my God. Guys, she's in STEM and she's a software engineer. We are going to hear more about her. So, Jessie, introduce yourself to my viewers. What are you doing now and where are you?
So good afternoon, morning, and evening to everyone watching. So my name's Jessie Chilufya. I'm a third year software engineering student at Zambia ICT College. It's located in Ndola, Copperbelt, Zambia.
Wow. Wow. Guys, she's in STEM. Remember, we are here to encourage girls to pursue science and technology and to showcase students as well who are in STEM so we can hear more about their experiences. This helps us understand, guys, how we can encourage girls to pursue science and technology. So, Jessie, tell me about something. How did you get into STEM? What happened when you were young, when you were about, let's go like 5 years old? What's going on? Is your dad in STEM, mommy in STEM, or is anyone talking about software engineer? And software engineer is not that easy. So tell us what's going on.
Actually, I'm the first one in my family.
Wow. Yes.
So my sister was the one who encouraged me. At first, I wanted to do biomedical sciences.
Correct.
I was so into math science at first. Then that didn't work out because my sister is also a biomedical scientist.
Yes.
Yes. So she encouraged me. I used to admire. She used to inspire me. I wanted to also be like her. But
Yes.
unfortunately, I couldn't go down that road. Then someone just introduced me like, oh, you should also try to get into technology. Technology is something that's growing every day, something that's interesting every day. So I tried to apply for a scholarship to China. It didn't work well because of the COVID thing. The time Corona hit, that 6 months closure we had.
Yes.
So I applied at my school. That was in 2020 January. I even managed to get in. So that's how I simply started. I'm actually the first one in my family. So hope to inspire someone out there.
Oh, guys, she's a first time in their family. Here in United States, guys, they really encourage and they get excited for first time college person in a family, and she's one of them. Amazing. You don't know how much you've encouraged those that are going to come before you and those that are watching you. So there is because some people, especially for you, sometimes you'll be like, oh, I can't make it. I've never seen, my uncle has never done it. Maybe this is not going to happen. But wow, we are rallying for you. And, thank you so much for sharing that. So what really inspired you now? I know you said you're the first person. What's going on when you are young? What curiosity do you have? What is making you you?
What's making me be me is actually the interest to learn new things.
Yes.
I'm really interested to learn new things because none of my friends are software engineers. I just met, like, the friends I have who are in technology right now, I just met them when I came into college. I never had a friend who was in tech or anything. So just hearing about technology and how interesting it was, I really got interested to know more about what really happens in software engineering and technology in general. So yeah, that's my curiosity to learn something new and be different from others.
Wow. So that means curiosity can also help us get to the other side of the road. So that means if you are curious, you try to learn. And sometimes, parents, we are curious, they try, this is boys stuff. This is, they always sometimes, used to discourage us. But no, when we see a kid is trying to be curious, trying to get something, encourage them. Sometimes they want to break something. Most parents would hit them. Why have you done this? But no, you have to encourage them. Break another one. Find out what's happening. I know it's going to cost us, but it's really important. Wow, that's amazing. So when you get now to high school, what's going on there? You're still interested in the STEM science classes. What's going on there?
Yeah, in my senior secondary, I was actually interested in sciences, biomedical sciences.
Yes.
So I used to attend, we had a JETS club at school. So we used to go for science fairs, do projects and stuff. Like, it was really helping me, and it was building more interest for me to do biomed. So just doing JETS in school, being encouraged by teachers, no, you're an A+ student. I used to be taught that, just like Wope said, math wasn't for everyone. I used to be very bad with math. I can't lie.
Tell me about it. Me too.
I really used to be bad. My uncle, my mom's immediate young brother, he used to be one of my teachers at secondary. He was teaching math. He used to
Yes.
encourage me. He would come home like, oh, no, listen, you're coming from a teacher who teaches mathematics. You really have to know this. You really have to know that. But I tried. I survived math by the grace of God. It wasn't easy. It wasn't really easy. I survived by the grace of God. So for math, it was that. Then I was really interested in biology. I
Yes.
even got a distinction for grade 12 on what's this during my grade 12 exam. I
Yes.
was really interested in biology. It also encouraged me more to do biomeds. But unfortunately, after I completed, I applied at UNZA. Lucky for who who got in. I
Yes.
really didn't get in, and I couldn't manage to do it anyway because it's costly somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have such finances to fund me. So
Mm-hmm.
that's how I met someone, a friend of mine, who introduced me to the technology world and not the science world.
Wow, wow, amazing story. Wow, that's so encouraging. And I hope, mothers out there, students out there. So it's the tenacity, you keep going regardless of, what is discouraging you around you. Wow. So what are some of the challenges that you are facing? I know you are still a student, and thank you for coming to share with us. I wish when I was a student, I could share with people what I was going through. For example, I'll tell you, Jesse, when I was at university, I stumbled a lot. I couldn't see someone who looked like me, especially here in the United States, who looked like me, who was pursuing the career manufacturing systems engineering that I did. I couldn't see anyone who looked like me. I couldn't see anyone who was working in the industry once I finished. So I was so much intimidated. I was like, what am I doing? It might be one of those who finish and then I'll never work or something like that. But thank God, I'm working for space missions. It's unbelievable. So I just want to encourage those people listening, or parents, young ones listening, that do not be intimidated by anything that you don't see. Technology is unknown. So when you are in that field, just keep going, because keep going to get your gold, because technology, we invent things, innovating, so you never know what you're going to be. So thank you for bringing out that, because it makes me remember the things that I was going through. So what are some of the challenges that really strike you today when you're at school? For example, the other thing I also want to give is, when I was at school, teaming up with men or boys was a very difficult thing, because sometimes, boys will team up, oh, we're already five or something like that. Even when you're speaking, sometimes you have to speak louder for them to hear you. So what are some of the challenges that you're going through as a student right now, to share with those that are coming up so they can be encouraged?
Okay, so I'll start with my first year. My first year
Yes.
wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, not even a bit. So after we got in school, we closed for 6 months due to COVID.
Yes.
So when we came back, we're expected to write exams. We're doing online lessons. And when we spent about 4 months in school after we came back, and it wasn't really easy because my class, we are only 5 girls.
Yes.
We're only 5 girls, and we have about 46 men in class.
Wow.
So that already it's dominating us
That
ladies. And
ratio.
for me, yeah, and for me personally, it wasn't easy because once again I got into like technology, I just wanted to learn. I had nothing. I never had any background about technology or anything.
Yes.
So my first year was the year of learning and being like just building more interest in tech. So
Yes.
my first year, what was really happening was there are guys in class. Like you
Yes.
said, no, we are already 5 in a group. No, we are already what in a group. So like it was like they were just dominating and stuff. You can see them, they know, you see them talking about tech things and you're just blank and stuff. And until I met like a second year software engineering student, a female, she's just alone in a class she was
Wow.
alone in a class of 20 guys. So
Yes.
yes, she was the one encouraging me, like just keep on pushing, keep on learning. Guys are like this. Just also try to like watch some tech videos, or so that each time they're having a conversation, at least you have something to talk about that they know and you know also.
Yeah.
So it wasn't easy. They were being dominant, making jokes, like they were making jokes. No, you don't know anything. No, you can't do this. No, you can't do, like that pressure mounting on me. Like my first year wasn't easy. It was the year of me building interest into tech, and I was being pressured like that. So
Yes.
my second year came again. My first year I really cleared well.
Yes.
Apparently, I cleared very well. Then my second year came. We have male lecturers. Male lecturers. I never had any female lecturers up to today. So male lecturers, they have their favorites. Those who know everything in tech and whatnot, they are not giving us chance to grow or learn, or even them encouraging us like, oh, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that. There was nothing like that. I brought my interest on my own. I never knew anything about coding. I had to learn coding from scratch. So
Wow.
I had to learn graphics designing. I had to learn a lot of things by second year.
Mm-hmm.
And third year again, this is when I started my third year. I'm just in school. I got to school
Yes.
yesterday. So yes, and right now from second year, I did multimedia. It's a
Yes.
course. It's a 1 year course, multimedia. Yeah, multimedia has really helped me a lot. It has just proven to me like, okay, you have interest in graphics designing and UI UX designing. So right now, I'm working hard to be at least the best UX UI designer in Zambia, because in Zambia that's when it's been introduced, and like that's when a lot of people are hearing about it, and that's when it's coming out. So I'm just trying to learn more about UI UX.
Wow, wow, that's so encouraging. Wow, and you know what? When you say that you had never, you didn't know a lot about coding, and then you had to go start digging about it, especially after maybe you hit a roadblock. Same thing. What happened to me when we were doing computer aided design, CAD. I was seated before these boys, and I'm trying to ask them, how do you do this? They are literally ignoring me. Can you imagine? I could not believe it. Then I said, am I going to sit and fail, or can I do something about it? So I went home. I went on YouTube. I said, I want to understand. So this YouTube, we can use it very wisely in terms of research. There's a lot of good material. One of the good material is just right. This platform that we're talking about, you hear so many things that are going to encourage you, and even how to do certain things. So I went on YouTube and started researching I had never heard about computer aided design. I did technical drawing back in time, but I didn't know what this monster is. So I went on YouTube. Oh my God. I learned so much. To cut the story short, first, before I complete the story, those boys could not believe what happened the next time they saw me. We were sitting. They're like, how did you know about this? Yeah, they really literally wanted me to fail. So, to cut the story short, I got an excellent grade in that computer aided design. So what do we mean? There is nothing that's too difficult. Once it's difficult, spend time in it and go and research, look it up. There are so many ways of researching things, especially today we have ample of internet. We have YouTube. We have a lot of resources. So it's very easy for us to continue either get into STEM, or if we have a trouble to research, because we have so much resource, especially today. Wow, that's really interesting what you just shared. So continue. So what are also maybe some of the challenges that you had apart from those? Do you have any other you can share with my viewers?
Now, mostly it was the coding challenge and building the interest. I know I have interest to learn something new,
Yes.
but being like, it was really something out of my league. Nothing like, something I never thought like, okay, I'm going to be in this field, I'm going to have to learn this. So it was just the coding part, because even the first time I had a coding class, just printing the hello world, that's the simple code, as it's called, the simple
Yes.
program. Like, I didn't even know what was going on. I was just like, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it. And I felt a lot of pressure. I was like, am I going to clear first year? am I going, because I had like guys in class, they knew what they were doing, they knew coding,
Yes.
you could hear them talking about programs, how to print, what, how to, and I was studying the simple program. I was like, it's not going to be easy for me. Then I was like, oh, my sister won't let me, so I have to like continue, because my sister, she's just the one who's written for me, and my mom also. So yeah, it's just the coding part, and just the interest. Feed your anger of interest. Feed it.
Yes.
Just feed it. You really appreciate.
Wow. 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 And thank you for sharing that so that people know that despite, and I also went through that where, the guys are talking up, it's like they know everything. And you know what I figure out sometimes? They don't even know, because I
Yeah.
realize when we do the exam, when we write the exam, sometimes I'm even the one who was done well. I'm like, so these people are pretending. That gave me even some more oomph. So sometimes when we're going through some stuff, don't think you're the only one struggling. Actually, there are more students struggling in there, but some, especially boys, I love the boys' confidence. Their confidence is off the chart. Even if they
Yeah.
don't know something exactly, you will see them in the forefront. I can do it. I can do
I
it.
can.
And women, we need also to have that just that aggressiveness of saying, I can do it, I can learn it, instead of maybe discouraging ourselves and things like that. And I feel you, I went through the same thing. But after, when you stay in that area, you pursue, you try to find out, finally you break the yoke. So, that's really, really interesting. So now I want to ask you something. Now that you're still a student, what would you say to a girl growing up that wants to pursue STEM? You are the first to pursue STEM in your family, first person to go to college. So, what would you say to a girl growing up in Kazungula there, in Chongwe, a girl that wants to pursue STEM? She sees aeroplane passing in the sky, she sees a computer, she's mesmerized. What would you say to a girl growing up? How can they pursue science and technology?
So the advice I can give is always be hardworking. And when what you want to be doesn't work, that's not the end of the road. You can still continue and make it. You can still try something new and work that thing out more than maybe what you're supposed to do. So
Yes.
just work hard. Don't be scared to try something new. Everything's gonna work out by the end of the day. So work hard, try something new, and be focused. And always don't underestimate your instincts. Work hard.
That's right. And remember, even if you don't know something, just stick your foot in there. There are tutors, and most universities and colleges are schools. They always have tutors. So don't be scared. Do not be afraid. So, Jesse, what particular field do you want to be? I know you're a software engineer, you want design. What exactly do you want to explore when you finish school?
Just want to explore UX, UI designing. I really want to take that abroad because I'm currently doing an online scholarship for
Yes.
UI UX designing. So
Yes.
yes, I just want to pursue that and see how it's going to work. If it doesn't work out, then we'll dive in another road and see how it goes.
And you know what? When you're early in your career, you can literally do anything. You can, and you know, one good thing about STEM, Jesse, let me tell you about STEM. STEM unlocks the future economy. Of course, we know that. It also helps us to understand our environment and be able to make informed decisions about anything that you can do. There is nothing that you cannot do whilst you are in STEM. What's your take about that?
Yeah, there's actually nothing you cannot do as long as you believe in yourself. Us girls, again, we bring ourselves down. That's one thing. We bring ourselves down when we see someone is doing much better. We see someone knows. Don't judge yourself based on what the next person is doing, or what the next person knows. Just be you, do yourself, trust yourself. You can also do what the next person is doing. All you need is hard work. So being in STEM can really help us a lot. Just like Bupe, she's doing, like, I'm so proud of Bupe. Bupe is doing a lot, and look
She's
at
doing
her.
yes.
She's really doing a lot. So anyone else can be like Whoopi. Anyone else can write a book like Whoopi. All you need is hard work and focus.
Yes, yes, that's true. And remember, in STEM, all these other careers, social sciences, tell me any other career, they will need STEM skills in the next decade. Why? Because technology is evolving tremendously. And in the next era, in the next decade, we are going to embed a lot of technology in these careers. And that's why we are here trying to encourage everybody, especially women. We need your touch in the any products that they are making. Regardless, think of any product. We need women's touch in those products to sit on the table and also make decisions, put color to it, put those details. They always say women have got, they have a lot of details to it. So we really need to put all those details to the products of the next generation. So, Jessie, one more question that I need to ask you. So, did you have a role model, or do you have a role model?
Yes, I do. I
Could
do.
you
My
share
elder sister.
with our viewers?
Yes, my elder sister. Her name is Grace Mulasquanda Mundavai. She's my role
Wow.
model. Like she has inspired me a lot.
Wow. Could you share how you got to know her? What led you to know to have a role model? Because that's some of the challenges that most people have, is to understand how to find a role model. How do you look for her? And how do you interact with her? And remember, a role model can be someone at a distance. You've never met her, but you watch her. You watch how she behaves. What is she doing? What has she ventured into? What are some of the qualifications that she has? Can I do them? So we will talk about role models some other time, but particularly you. How did you find that role model? How did it start? I know you said she's the older sister.
Yes,
Yes.
she's
How did
actually
it
my
start?
cousin, but I call her my sister.
Of course, yes.
Yes. So one thing that encouraged me was academic performance. She's
Wow.
a genius. She's a genius, like no lie.
Excellent. Yes.
So grade 7, like the exams Bope mentioned, she was scoring more than average, above
Wow.
average all the time. At grade
Yes.
12, she got 6 points. Then she was accepted at UNZA, given 100% bursary. That's
Wow.
why she pursued her biomedical sciences, and right now she's a biomedical scientist, and she's really helping. She's also trying to give back to the community. She educates people, like she just helps a lot of people. So like all that she does, but mostly her academic performance really encouraged me. And she's the person rooting for me, like I said. After I
Yes.
went into tech, she was just like, you just need to be focused. You can also do it if someone else is about to do it. Because my mom was like, is she going to find a job with this career she's choosing? Then when my elder sister was just like, in tech, jobs are everywhere. She can find jobs everywhere in technology. So just her academic performance and how she handles herself, how she has really been focused throughout. It's just something I really loved about her. And yeah, that's how she inspires me, and that's how she became my role model.
Wow, excellent. Nice. So, guys, you see how you can have a role model. And also, one thing you reminded me is I just want to encourage everybody who's listening and students, when you share this interview, every time you need to make sure you can partner and have friends who are smart. Why? Just like Jessie is saying, she engaged her sister or her cousin, watched her. Why? So some of the questions you'll be asking yourself: how come this person knows and understand this problem? How did she understand the problem? Let me watch how she thinks. One of the people who gave me that advice is my cousin. She also went to Harvard University, but now she's in Amsterdam. She said, the first time I was trying to start school, she said, first time when you go in class, find those kids, those girls, those are people that are doing excellent. Those are your friends. Why should you do that? Because you need to understand how they think. How are they thinking? how did they solve the problem? You really have to be very specific to understand them. That's the only way. Even if you didn't understand hanging out with someone who knows will help you understand how they think, and you start thinking like that. Even in the Bible, it says, the crumbs of a rich person, you can eat from those crumbs. Just those crumbs can make you stay for another 2-3 weeks and you don't starve. So, wow, thank you so much, Jesse. And I'll give you the last word, whatever you want to say to Girls for STEM, to girls out there, to your fellow students. Girls, go for it.
So, my fellow girls, someone out there who's trying to get into STEM, just don't be scared to learn. Have the privilege to engage yourself with people who are geniuses like Rupi. So
Yes.
don't be intimidated being found with people who are intelligent. Don't be intimidated, because being close to someone who's intelligent, it's a blessing, something you're going to gain from yourself, and not like make a loss or anything. So be focused, strive to work hard, strive to be focused, and don't be intimidated by anyone's goal or anything. Focus on what you want to do and be you throughout. It will really help.
Wow, thank you so much. And guys, we've come to the end of the show. Thank you so much. See you next Saturday again. And Jesse, thank you for coming. We want to see you again to watch your space. You're just a student in third year, and congratulations. And go get your gold, Jesse. You got this. You got this.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And bye, everyone. See you next Saturday.